Hi, welcome all. Welcome to our channel Microbiology Made Easy. So today's topic is an important topic, that is introduction to parasitology. So in this video, I will give you the brief information about the introduction to parasitology. So first, what is a parasite? So parasite, everyone knows that the parasite is a living organism, so which depends on the host. So here it always depends on the host for its survival and derives nutrition from the host. So it is an organism which depends on the others, that is the name as host. So it survives and derives nutrition from the host without giving any benefit to the host. So parasite is an organism which depends on the other, that is named as host, so which derives nutrition from the host and benefits from the host. So this is the definition of parasite. So next, classification of parasites. So classification of parasites, all living organisms are classified into 5 kingdoms. That is first Monera, Protista, Plantae, fungi and animalia. So these are the 5 kingdoms. So all living organisms are classified into these 5 kingdoms. So next, the parasitology. So here today's topic is parasitology. So parasitology has 2 branches. So that is protozoology. Study of protozoans is named as protozoology. Next, helminths. Study of helminths are known as helminthids. So total parasitology has 2 branches. That is protozoology and helminthology. So here it is the protozoans. So protozoans are eukaryotic cells. So they are eukaryotic, unicellular. So belongs to the kingdom that is Protista. So whereas helminths, so helminths are eukaryotic cell. Both are eukaryotics. It is multicellular. That is this is multicellular kingdom, that is Animalia. So this is about the protozoans and helminths. So next, classification. So classification of parasites will be like this. Each parasite has kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So this is the classification of parasites. So each parasite has this classification. So next, classification of parasites under protozoans and helminths. So here it is, the protozoa has amoeba. Under amoeba, important parasite Entamoeba histolytica and Entamoeba gingivalis. Next, flagellates. The flagellates are Giardia lamina, Trichomonas vaginalis, and Leishmania species. Next, sporozoans, that is Plasmodium and Toxoplasma gondii. Next, ciliates, that is Balantidium coli. So total parasite has protozoology and helminthology. Under protozoology, we are having amoeba, flagellates, sporozoa, and ciliates. So these are the 4 classification of protozoans. Next, helminths. So helminths are trematodes, nematodes, and cystodes. 3 branches. The trematodes has important, that is Fasciola cystosoma species. The nematodes are roundworm, hookworm, and threadworm. Cystodes are Taenia echinococcus. So this is the classification of trematodes, nematodes, and cystodes. So only 2 branches: protozoals and helminthology. So next, types of parasites. Ectoparasites. Ecto means these will lies external surface of the host. So outside the surface of the host, outside it will be present. That is named as ectoparasite. Endoparasite. Endo means which lies within the body of the host. So which lies inside the body. Obligate means it needs the host. Without host, it cannot exist. That is obligate. Facultative, maybe, may not. So capable of leading both a free living and parasite. So they can live without host or with host also. It will be survive, which will maybe be present. That is facultative. Accidental, in very rare condition, which infect an unusual host. So that is accidental host. Any other circumstances or any other situations, it will be attached to the host. That is named as accidental parasite. So these are the types of parasites. Host. So host means the parasites which is deriving nutrition from the other organism, that is named as host. So host may be that is from the animals or anything will be the host. So it's some survives as a host. So first is the definitive host. Definitive host, wherever the sexual reproduction of that parasites takes place, that is named as definitive host. So here in Plasmodium life cycle, the mosquito act as a sexual act as a definitive host wherever the sexual reproduction takes place. So here inside the mosquito cell, mosquito, which is the sexual reproduction takes place. So this is act as a definitive host. Next is intermediate host. So intermediate host means larval or asexual stages of parasite found. Wherever the asexual stages or larval stages are found, that is named as intermediate host. Here the intermediate host is RBC cells of human beings. So which will be takes place in humans. So here for Plasmodium life cycle, the human beings are act as an intermediate host. Definitive host is the mosquito, intermediate host is the human being. So this is the difference between the definitive host and intermediate host. The next is parentenic host. Parentenic host means wherever the larval stage of parasite survives but does not develop further. So here it is larval stage is present in the fish. So here there is no multiplication, so there is no development will be takes place. That is named as parentenic host. Wherever the larval stage of parasite will be present, that is named as parentenic host. Next, reservoir host. So reservoir means the host which harbors the parasite. So these are the hosts which harbors the parasite but shows no ill effect. So they won't show any disease and survives as a source of infection. These all are harbors which are carrying the infection, which are carrying the parasite, but they won't get the infection. So they don't get the disease carried by the pathogen, or it's asymptomatic and non-lethal. So they won't get the infection, but they are act as a reservoir host. So this is the definition of reservoir host. Next, zoonosis. So zoonosis means the infections confined to animals but can be transmitted to humans either directly or indirectly via the vector. So zoonosis means through the animals we are getting the infection. That is named as zoonosis. So examples are leishmaniasis, idiotid disease, trypanosomiasis, and cryptosporidiosis. So these are the zoonotic infections. Next, what is the meaning of vector? So vector is an agent that transmit an infection from one human to another. So it is transmitting the infection from one to another with the help of the one agent that is named as vector. So here houseflies are acting as a vectors. The next is biological vector. So under types of vector, biological vector is this. That is mosquitoes and ticks may carry the pathogen that can multiply within their bodies and be delivered to new hosts. So there will be a vectors, they are carrying the pathogen, they will be multiplying inside the body and delivered to new host usually by biting. So inside the body of this vector, this pathogen will be multiplies. So which is delivering to the new hosts. So with the help of biting, they will transmit the infection. That is biological vector. So biological means inside the body it will be multiplies. Whereas the mechanical vectors, such as flies, which can pick up the infectious agent on the outside of their bodies and transmit them through the physical contact. So which carries the infection to their legs or on the surface of the body, which carries the infection and transmit to one to another. So biological means inside the body, whereas the mechanical means surface of the body, which is infecting from one to another. So this is the definition of mechanical vectors. So next, host parasite relationships. So what is the relationship between the host and parasite? Yes, our host parasite relationships under this we are having symbiosis, commensalism, and parasitism. So symbiosis means both host and parasite will be beneficial. So which cannot lie with the help of the other. So both will be beneficial. Host and parasite both will be beneficial. So which cannot lie without the other. That is the symbiosis or mutualism. Commensalism. So commensalism means the parasite only delivering the nutrients from the host without harmful to the host. So only parasite will be beneficial under commensal without harmful to the host. This is the commensalism. Whereas the parasites, so parasite means so host will get the infection, only the parasite will be get the benefit. So only the parasite will be get the beneficiary action. Then the host will get the infection. That is the parasitism. So this will be the relationships, symbiosis, commensalism, and parasitism. Next, source of infection. So parasitic infection, source of infection, are the contaminated soil and water, the most commonest, raw or uncooked flesh. Next is fish, cyclops, crabs, blood-sucking insects. So these all are the source of infections of the parasites, parasitic infections. So the entry of parasites. So they will get infection that is through oral tract, that is Entamoeba histolytica, which is commonest. Sexual contact, example is the Trichomonas vaginalis. Congenital transmission, that is Toxoplasma gondii. Skin through port entry, that will be the through the skin, that is Ankylostoma duodenale. Next is vectors. So through the vectors also will get infection, that is biological and the mechanical. Already we have discussed it. So life cycle of parasites under humans, so which completes in single host or more than one host. Some they may take only one host, some they may need more than 2 or 3. So some parasites have required 2 or 3 hosts to complete their life cycle. So pathogenicity. So pathogenicity will get the infection, that is trauma, allergic manifestations, inflammatory reactions. So neoplasia. So we'll get the most commonest infections. So if it is present in the intestine, we'll get the diarrhea, dysentery, like that. So according to their habitat, we'll get the infection. So immunity of the parasitic infection. So immunity will play a major role for parasitic infections also, that is cell-mediated immunity, then humoral immunity. So these two immunity will be participating in the parasitic infections. So lab diagnosis will be, so direct demonstration of parasite, that is normal serum iodine mounts, serological tests, skin tests, so molecular methods. So this will be discussed in the next video, lab diagnosis of parasitic infections. So specimens, so commonest specimens for detection of the parasitic infection, that is stool sample, blood, urine, genital specimens, CSF, sputum, tissue and aspirates. So molecular methods. So molecular methods also will take these specimens. So thank you. Please do subscribe my channel, Microbiology Made Easy. So next video I will keep them. So laboratory diagnosis of parasitic infections. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe my channel.